Now, I know you're all excited to be here as we count down to Avengers Endgame, the grand conclusion of 22 films in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So without further ado, please welcome the cast and filmmakers of Marvel Studios' Avengers Endgame. Clearly things look a little different in a post-Infinity War Marvel Cinematic Universe. Post-snap, there's a few empty seats. So why don't, I'd like to welcome back the people that you see here on stage. Denai Guerrera, Anthony Russo, Joe Russo, Scarlett Johansson, Kevin Feige, Robert Downey Jr., Chris Hemsworth, Don Cheadle, and Mark Ruffalo. Let's hear it for them. We are fortunate enough to have a few of the other people that survived the snap joining us today. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Birthday Boy, Paul Rudd, Karen Gillan, Brie Larson, Chris Evans, and Jeremy Renner. Let's start with where it all started, Mr. Robert Downey Jr. I have a question here on the card. When you first suited up as Iron Man, could you envision Tony Stark's arc and where you wanted to see the character go? And how did you approach building such a memorable character?
I've been thinking about this recently. There's always two tracks, at least in my mind. One is the sky is falling, and the other is the sky's the limit. And as we had those many discussions in the high desert and shooting the film, I'm reminded now that I was talking a lot of smack, saying, wait till you see where this goes. But in the moment, I was just hoping day to day we were making good scenes and getting good stuff in the can, and, you know, the usual gobbledygook. I just wanted to not drop the ball.
Was it a surprise early on that Iron Man amassed an army of devoted fans? And what do those fans mean to you today, Robert?
Again, I've been just feeling like I'm kind of an oddball Manny, who I've been offered the opportunity to usher in this larger, as you were saying, family and stuff, and I look around and we are close and growing closer by the moment. To me, it's just the coolest relay race in the history of entertainment, for my money, so.
And a relay race is a good way to put it, because it has been a collection not just of different actors portraying superheroes, but also filmmakers carrying the torch from one film to the other, and all of it under the guidance of Mr. Kevin Feige sitting next to you. Now, 11 years ago, yeah, let's hear it for Kevin. 11 years ago, you could not have predicted the 22 films you've produced in the Marvel Cinematic Universe would be so wildly successful and popular. When did you actually begin to realize that you had something big on your hands?
Well, big is relative, but it was, you know, we hired a great director to do the first film in the MCU. And then we hired a great actor. And we had fun making that first movie, as you all recall, and it was sort of the success of it. The bar for success was pretty low. It felt high at the time, but it was not that high. It was comparative to other Marvel films that had been out in that general area, which is what we wanted to compete with. But as we were making the movie, and as we were looking at dailies, and as we were looking at effects tests coming in, we realized that this was really going to be special, and even perhaps more special than we thought. And then that opening weekend, and the response to the trailer, frankly, with you coming out at Hall H at Comic-Con for the first time, showing that trailer, there started to be a much bigger sort of wind behind our back, combined with Mr. Sam Jackson's cameo that we secretly did on that Saturday at Playa, and then leaked the next day. And the response to that, and that people picked up that meant this interconnected universe, which everybody knew from the books, but had never been done in the movies.
Right, and what makes Avengers Endgame so special that it's the most highly anticipated superhero film ever?
Well, what's special is all the actors on this stage, all the actors who are not on this stage. And as you said earlier, the family that has come together this decade plus, and the fact that Robert said it so well in the trailer, part of the journey is the end. And about 4 or 5 years ago, we all started talking about doing something at every turn, including the first Iron Man film. We talked about, how can we do something that's never been done before? What if a superhero outs his identity at the very last shot of the movie? Well, you can't do that. No one does that. You can't do that. What would we do next time? I don't know. Let's do it. 4 or 5 years ago, we talked about, what haven't we seen in films based on comic characters? We haven't seen an ending. a definitive conclusion to an overall saga. So that is why it's called Endgame and why I think it's very, very, very special.
And Anthony, specifically, how does the surprise ending of Avengers Infinity War affect the tone of Endgame in the aftermath of Thanos' destruction?
Well, first of all, thank you for saying that, John. And secondly, you know, Joe and I, we speak constantly about the debt we owe to you for starting this whole thing. And we both remember that moment that we sat in the theater and watched that first Iron Man for the first time. And I remember that feeling of like, I wish we were part of this, you know, and we had no idea that years later we actually would be. So, I mean, that was an epic moment in a movie theater. So thank you for that. So the ending of Infinity War is, you know, look, Joe and I have mentioned this before, like one of our favorite storytelling adages is write yourself into a corner. And what we take that to mean is like put yourself in a place on a narrative level where you have no idea how you could possibly move forward from here. And that's a great place. That's a very exciting place to be. And it forces you to come up with some really creative ways forward. And we've tried to do that with the endings of every single Marvel movie we've done, and perhaps never more so, of course, than Infinity War. You know, we are very committed to the ending of that movie. We think that, stories lose their meaning and relevancy and resonance unless there are real stakes. And for us, moving into this new movie, into Endgame, the story is very much about how do these characters, how do these heroes deal with loss, resounding loss, true loss, devastating loss. That's what they've experienced in Infinity War, and that was a unique experience for all of them. And how does a person move forward from that moment? How does a hero move forward from that moment? And the way our road into this story is how is everybody on an individual level dealing with that experience, and then how do they collectively deal with it?
And Joe, what do you want audiences to experience when they watch Avengers Endgame?
I'm sorry, John, we can't talk about that. Look, this is, I think, a really unique experiment in movies, this grand mosaic. It's, I don't know, depending on how you count it up, 11 franchises that have been interwoven into one big narrative. And I think, a lot of people have invested a lot of heart and soul into the characters. And, when we take these movies around the world, it's really, it's heartwarming to see people come up to you and say, hey, I started watching this with my classmates when I was 10 years old. Now we're all 21 and we're all going to go see this together. Or my parents have taken me to every movie, or my grandfather's taken me to every film. And, it's a real sense of community and sharing in these stories and believing in them. And I think, with Endgame, we get the opportunity to finish off one of the grandest experiments in movie history. And bring it to, as Kevin said, an epic conclusion. So what we're hoping for is that people feel satisfied with the conclusion.
Jeremy Renner, Hawkeye is back. How do you feel to rejoin the Avengers and take up your bow again?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right, thank you.
Stretched out, had some coffee, ready to rock.
All right, sounds good. Good to have you back. Denai Guerrera, Black Panther introduced your character Okoye to the world. Now she is fighting besides the Avengers. What makes her such a respected and well-liked character? And also congratulations and thank you for the breath of energy that Black Panther brought to the Marvel Universe. I think it was something that was truly significant and helped keep the franchise feeling fresh and new, and it was a wonderful film.
Thank you. Listen, it was an amazing honor and joy to be a part of it. And, once again, it was, the beauty of being here today is being amongst this amazing franchise that's done all this work over this course of time is, we got to be embraced in this universe and be a part of it. So that was such an amazing part of it. I can't, what I can say about Okoye, because I can't speak to, you like her because that sounds a little like, well, I'm liked. No, what I can say is what I love about her is that she's very unapologetic, and she's a traditionalist in the sense that she believes in the sovereignty of her nation. And I guess that really resonated with me because I was born on the continent. I was born here, but I was raised on the continent. And so seeing a country like Wakanda, which has had no history of colonization and became so powerful, and that she is like the guardian of that nation in a sense, was something that really resonated with me. And I really got to work, collaboratively in a gorgeous way with the awesome Mr. Ryan Coogler, who really allowed me to imbue her with the idea that she has a good time. She doesn't have rage issues. She doesn't have that going on. She loves her life. She loves her country. She loves her people, and she'll do whatever it takes to take care of what must be done. And at the same time, there's a fierceness that I think she has, that also she kind of unapologetically also embraces her femininity. So it's been really fun to get to see her in all these different ways, because when I was talking about this yesterday with Scarlett, the first day of Infinity War, when they all came to Wakanda and we were coming onto their set, and we opened that tent door, that tent whatever flap, and they're inside and they're like, all the Avengers sitting there is like, oh, hi. That's the minute you realize you're a part of a universe, which was pretty darn awesome.
Chris Hemsworth, what has made Thor such an entertaining and beloved character through his own franchise and in the Avengers as well? And what do you like? And what do you like best about playing him?
Well, I mean, just to echo something you were saying before, Anthony, about the first time that the Marvel Universe came into my universe back in Australia. I was sitting there, and I don't know, I would have been just straight out of high school and watching Iron Man 1 and thinking the same things, thinking, oh my God, imagine, I wish I could be a part of that world. And then a few years on, getting cast in it as Thor and having the opportunity to embark on this thing. And at the time, I thought, was this film even going to make it past DVD, or even make it to the cinemas, or was I going to be recast, or all those sort of questions? And look, I think the answer to the question, what made it so special for me was just the different people I was able to work with. From Kenneth Branagh to that first film, was really, I sort of was completely in his hands and was basically willing to do whatever it takes and wherever he needed me to go for the character. And then through the films with each director and in each different cast member, I'd learned something different from. And by the time about Ragnarok I felt like it finally enough sort of confidence to go, okay, well, what is it that I could possibly bring to this? And then had this great collaboration with Taika, and really decided to do something different and see how we could make it unexpected and unique. And then I remembered calling Joe and Anthony and saying, look, I've got this new version of Thor that we've just shot, and I want to continue that version. I don't want to do the old version. And he said, well, we've got an even newer version for you. And it was, and then as was this film here, and it's just about the people that's made it so special, and I think unique each time with any of our characters is everybody you get to interact with, and the fact that we're all willing to be open to what new possibilities lie ahead of these franchises and these characters, and it's been a pretty remarkable journey.
Chris Evans, Captain America is a classic hero with an unshakable moral code, and you have perfected your portrayal of him, plus shown us even more of what makes him tick. What has it meant to you to play him, and what do you like best about Captain America in this film?
There's been so many wonderful elements of working on this movie, and I'll echo what Chris said. Just truly, not to, it could seem like a safe answer or something, but really, honestly, the friendships and connections I've made over these 10 years now, it truly has become a family. And
Scarlett Johansson, Black Widow.
Yes, that's me.
Yes, you have been part of this since Iron Man 2, and your character has always represented women as strong and equal. And for you, what is the best part of playing a character in this universe?
The character really started as, a sort of secretary, a sexy secretary with a skill set on the side, and
Posing as,
thank you. And, we didn't know, certainly I didn't know how the audience would react to the character, my interpretation of the character, and obviously a very beloved character for a long time. I feel, and then the next time that we saw her in Avengers, she was sort of one of the boys, for better or worse, and that, made sense then. And, as I think the fans and the audiences have really pushed certainly Marvel, but pushed all the studios and filmmakers to really, throw up on the screen what represents what's going on in the zeitgeist and wanting to see, diverse films and cast that represents how they, their own aspirations and how they feel. I think, the characters sort of grown in reaction to that, and the movies have really grown in reaction to that kind of fan encouragement. And honestly, I have to say that, it's so. I remember, when Lizzie signed on, and Colby was there, and we were all clinging to each other just to. I felt like had been in this like testosterone fest for such a long time. It was so nice to see like other female cast members, and then, with Brie coming on and Karen and Denai, and it's really, I feel like I'm in just this, I'm amongst so many wonderful actors, so many strong actors, and such, such a, it's just grown beyond my wildest dreams. I could never have imagined where this would take us and all of us. It's been quite a journey.
Karen Gillan, Nebula is such a complex character. What excited you about bringing her back for Avengers Endgame?
Well, I think it's maybe safe to say that she suffers from some daddy issues because her dad is Thanos, so who wouldn't? And I think I'm excited for her to finally face the source of this abuse. This has sort of been building through multiple movies, through the Guardians movies, and she's talked about how she wants to inflict revenge, and so we all know about that. So I would like to see her try and face that.
Paul Rudd, Ant-Man's Return.
I saw him in the trailer.
What can we expect from this time around, and how does he fit in with the remaining Avengers?
Well, I did see the trailers. I do know that I'm in it.
Yes.
How I fit in, how any of this works, it remains to be seen, and it's going to be fun to have audiences discover it along with us. We haven't seen it either. But it's not part of the question. Okay. But I must say, everyone is kind of echoing the same sentiment, which is this sense of like this completion, this story, but the relationships that are forged. It's a weird thing to kind of be hired in any job, and then to get to, for somebody like me, to step into it as it's already picked up speed. It's like having the Beatles say, "Come on and jam with us for a while." It's an unreal sensation, and
all the ribbing aside, because we all joke around, but tell me about what this community of actors, what's the real experience been like?
It's hard to put into words, honestly. I mean, I sit and listen to Joe and Anthony speak. I've gotten to know Kevin. We've known each other for a long time. Yeah. And getting to work with all of these actors in this series of films is a one-off. It will never happen again. Not for me. I keep taking steps back and try to recognize this for what it is. And it is so surreal and profound and incredible to be a part of it. It's amazing to meet so many people who are so passionate about it. It's incredible to meet so many kids whose lives are affected by these characters. And to play a small part in that, pun intended, is just something I will always treasure. And so to be here on this panel today, amongst all of you, is really just an incredible feeling, and I'm just honored to be a part of it.
Brie Larson, everyone is waiting to see Captain Marvel in action with the Avengers. Did working with them on this film connect you to the bigger MCU picture, and how did that feel?
I came at just the most magical time, I think, to come exactly at this 10-year anniversary. And really my first introduction to everyone was the 10-year photo, which was a really remarkable and special day and super surreal, and also like not allowed to talk about it. So the whole thing has always felt like a dream. And this film will always be personally dear to me because it was my first time playing Captain Marvel. We shot this first.
Right.
So I had to stumble and try to figure out who this character was with no script for this and no script for Captain Marvel either. And perform for the first time in front of, you know, legends. But it was incredible. I mean, I think the other part of it too is the set feels like this balance of, as big as it is, it still feels like a bunch of kids, like just like what I was doing over summer break, making movies in my garage. There's still this sense of wonder and play and encouragement, and of course, this film deals with some heavy subject matters, and so you're bouncing in between things that feel very deep and serious, and then we're going off and playing Boggle, which I am very good at, just to be clear. And so it's nothing, there's no other word I can describe it as other than surreal, and I'm super excited for this to come out, mostly just so that I can talk about it. I want to be able to talk about my experience, which I haven't been able to do for a very long time.
Don Cheadle, Rhodey has been there since the beginning. What do you like best about playing him and suiting up as War Machine?
Well, you know, you were there from the beginning, obviously, and Rhodey obviously started, I think it's fair to say, as a lighter-toned individual, sort of bigger than life, than I am in real life. But as the character sort of darkened and things became more compact on a narrative, I think we've seen a real growth of this character, and we've kind of, you know, as he's gone through his trials and tribulations, obviously, over the course of these films, and come out the other side now, and has his legs under him, no pun intended, literally, and is able to really be a part of this team and really contribute at a high level. It's been a lot of fun to see where he's come from and to see where he's gone and see what else happens next. But, you know, kind of to echo what Bree said, we've had a great time this whole time, being together and, you know, having the Downey lunches that we have, that he's put together, and to get to know these people. I've always known their work, but to get to know them as individuals and get to know them as people and get to be friends and to come back, to get to keep coming back to these relationships again and seeing where everybody is, and people have had kids and families, kids going on to college, and other people having kids and relationships started and ending. It's just, it's rare to have that kind of an experience over the course of 10 years with the same group of people, so it's really nice.
That leads us to Mark Ruffalo. This cast has met up many times now, either in part or whole. Some describe it as family. Is that how it feels to you? And why is that, or is that not the case?
It doesn't feel like family to me because we all really get along well. There's not that much drama. No, it does feel like family. It's a family that you wish you had, in a way. You know, as actors, we're like vagabonds. We kind of bounce around. We have these intense relationships, and then you don't see anybody until you get nominated for something, or you're nominated in something, and you end up in an award ceremony.
What's that like? Speak for yourself.
All right, let's go to some questions. Oh, my.
For the Russos, you guys have shown amazing restraint in what you haven't revealed about this film so far. How did not having sort of feedback to trailers and major set pieces, how did that affect you putting the film together and putting its final touches on without sort of having that audience feedback coming from trailers that show more of the film?
Look, at the end of the day, my brother and I, we came to this material because we're fans. We grew up loving the comics. We came to the series. We came to the MCU already fans of the MCU. So the thing that, like, the energy we move on is our own passion and our own excitement. And that's how we tell stories. We learned long ago that you have to tell stories for yourself. You can't be thinking about how others might receive them. So for Joe and I, because we have such an intimate relationship with the material, because we have so many amazing collaborators, starting with Kevin, we are able to just really fashion the story around what we want to see as fans. How do we surprise ourselves? How do we excite ourselves? How do we challenge ourselves? How do we force ourselves to keep digging deeper and keep exploring this narrative and these characters in ways we never imagined? That's how we guide ourselves through the process. And while once the film is complete and we put it out in the world, we really have no idea how it's going to be received. And then sort of once that complete film is experienced and digested and responded to, I think that's the moment where we are then filled up with a reaction. But as we're executing, once we conceive the film and start executing, we're not really second guessing what we're doing. We're really focused on chasing the initial vision that we had for it.
Absolute honor to be across from all of you. Obviously, with the end of Infinity War and the Thanos snap is a very emotional thing for a lot of audience members to experience that. And Robert, I've been wanting to ask you this since I saw that film, and specifically just staying with Infinity War, shooting that moment with Spider-Man, having him turn to dust, and the actual acting and the emotion of that moment, just what it was like to shoot that scene specifically on that day. And for each of you, do you have a particular person who turned to dust that was the most emotional for you to watch as an actor? But Robert, for you first.
It's one of those things where you go like, wow, I think we just made a pretty serious choice here. But I think audiences like that. I think audiences are so smart and now so they require to not be fed the same drivel as even 20 minutes ago. It's like we need novelty. And I think that what the Russos and Kevin have been able to do is provide that in spades.
Hi, this question's for Chris Evans. So in the past few films like Civil War and Infinity War, now Endgame, you see your character being able to interact with different characters. And because, you're Captain America, you always have this tendency to be a leader and be a captain. How does that change or maintain continuity as you meet other characters like Captain Marvel or Black Panther, who are both leaders in their own way?
Sure. I think he tends to lean on those people who are of like mind in nature, who kind of are intrinsically selfless. I mean, all the heroes up here have their baked in the cake flaws, and I think a lot of that makes for really good conflict and storytelling. That's why my favorite stuff in this arc has been my stuff with Downey, because we are such a dichotomy between how we approach things, but at the end of the day, our hearts are both in the right places, but it provides a lot of great friction. But introducing characters like Captain Marvel and like Black Panther, people who also kind of align very similarly to Cap's nature, I think it creates a nice, it reinforces Cap's sense of purpose and home. It's an environment that it feels more natural for him. So I think it's nice to see the certain pockets where he feels at peace and the certain pockets where he feels, his buttons might be getting pushed.
This question is for Anthony and Jill. So I'm 12 years old, and I often make short films with my friends. I aspire to be a director when I grow up. What skills do you think it takes to direct an amazing movie like Avengers Endgame?
Yeah.
That's a great question. First of all, congratulations, because you've started making films more than 10 years before we did. So that's very impressive.
I think, you know what, we love your initiative, and I think that's really when anybody asks us about getting started, it's doing what you're doing. It's picking up a camera and it's shooting. You have iPhones now. You can, Steven Soderbergh just shot an entire movie on an iPhone, and you have free distribution on YouTube, and you can put things out there. We, discovered Donald Glover for Community on YouTube. So there's it's much easier now, I think, for people's voices to be heard and seen than it was when we started, and you had to go out and get a camera and buy a really expensive film and figure out how to get it developed. And so I think, find a story that you want to tell, be really passionate about it, care about it, and then go out and tell that story. And I think that's really the secret to being a successful filmmaker.
Please join me in thanking the cast and filmmakers of Avengers Endgame.
And thank you, John.